Happy Saturday. Welcome. This is the Finance Rebel Show. Every Saturday we do Wealthy Conversation. So today is the Wealthy Conversation segment of the Finance Rebel Show. Thank you all for joining in. I see my folks are starting to come in on IG. People are starting to trickle in over on Facebook and YouTube as well. But as we get going, I'll just let everybody know what we're talking about today. So the main topic today will be about how am I building my dividend portfolio again? How am I building my dividend portfolio? So listen, it's nothing fancy, just to give y'all a pre-advisement. But listen, it's something just about everybody can do. Oftentimes I get questions or statements when people say, you know, I don't have enough money to invest in the stock market. I don't have I don't have the money to do it. But listen, everybody can invest. And to answer the question, DLC, my YouTube channel is just youtube.com/Kamari Ellis. Again, youtube.com/Kamari Ellis if you'd rather watch on YouTube. Firehouse Auto Spa, thanks for joining. Malik Carter, what's up, bro? I've been talking about you lately in my videos, man. I don't know if you peeped it. I don't think I tagged you either. Kay Renee, how are you, lady? How you been? You still going at it with them options? How's business? All right, so we're going to talk about that. Talk about, what I'm doing with my dividend portfolio. Talk about also what's going on with the markets as we do every week. And then I'm going to answer a question. So there's a question I've been asked to answer. Basically, how do you find out what a stock's dividend yield is, or what a stock's yield is? So I want to go over that too. It kind of fits in neatly with me sharing some of the dividend stuff I've been doing. Y'all know every now and again, well, not every now and again, just about every time I get a dividend payment through my Cash App portfolio, I share it on my IG. And so sometimes people make fun of me. Sometimes people applaud me. It doesn't matter either way, right? The applause is always good because there's a purpose. And the reason why I even show it, because, a lot of times it's just pennies, literally pennies on a dollar. But every time I get those pennies on a dollar, I always reinvest. So it's to show something bigger. It's to show that you can go from nothing to something. It's to show that you don't need a whole lot of money, right? In the beginning, it's all about the end. It's a marathon, folks. It is not a sprint. I know a lot of us are looking to get rich quick. 9 times out of 10, that don't work. And with over my 20 years of experience in education, I don't see it that often. And a lot of times when we talk about getting rich quick, and some people aren't even really factoring in that, we're really chasing lottery tickets. We're really looking to kind of just come up real quick, don't work for it, get lucky, and live the life. One of my favorite movies is Trading Places. Eddie Murphy, right? And so what did they do at the end of that? And if y'all don't know about Trading Places, please go watch Trading Places. Probably one of the best investment movies ever. By the way, they were not trading stocks in Trading Places. They were trading commodities. All right, totally different market. They were trading futures, to be more precise. They were trading commodities on the futures market. But, at the end, they come in, they're on the beach after they did their thing. And Billy Ray says, Lewis says, how are you feeling, Billy Ray? And Billy Ray says, feeling good. And they raise their champagne glasses, right? So many of us want to jump right to the point of the movie where we're on the beach, where we're sipping our champagne, where we have a beautiful young lady or handsome young man on our arm, or whichever way you rock. But we want to jump over the actual work, over the actual sacrifice. And listen, I guess that happens in some places, but I don't know where they do that at. Everywhere I've seen massive wealth generated, it's been because of sheer hard work, not getting lucky, not pulling a lottery ticket. It's been hard work. Now, listen, there are a couple people out here that were born with silver spoons in their mouths. They are few and far between. The majority of millionaires and even the billionaires were made from their own work, were made from their own investments, were made from their own creations. They didn't get a come up or an inheritance or a trust from daddy or grandpa or that old rich uncle that we also so want. So, all right, again, we're just going to talk about a couple things as we do every Saturday, right? So let me get my notes. All right, so as we go through everything, y'all know I love to review the markets, right? So the S&P 500 closed at 3,298. All right, 3,298. This is the fourth week that the S&P 500 has been down. Basically, the S&P 500 is what I use to track the market. You probably hear people every day talk about the Dow Jones. Even sometimes now talking about the NASDAQ, but I use the S&P 500 because the S&P 500 is 500 companies. The Dow Jones is 30. That's the most popular. It's the 30 biggest. And actually, I mean, there is a big correlation between the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. When I say correlation, that means that when one goes up, the other one goes up, and one goes down, the other one goes down. So when the S&P 500 goes up, the Dow Jones tends to go up. They tend to move pretty much in lockstep. So one of the things you want to do, that's a gem there, right? When you're reviewing investments or reviewing stocks, look at their correlations to the overall market, because that can help give you a clue if you're trying to build a diverse portfolio or diversified portfolio, how well your portfolio really is diversified. All right. So oil closed at $40.25, down year to date 29.71%. And I'm sorry, I missed the year-to-date number for the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is up 2.09%, 2.09%. And gold closed this week at 1866. Again, 1866. Gold is up year-to-date 20%. Now, if anybody's been paying attention, gold has been getting mollywopped these last couple of weeks. Gold has been getting hit kind of hard. So y'all notice that year-to-date number has been going down, 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 down. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Tay Digital. Thanks for joining on IG. What's up, Shelby? How y'all doing? I also see Karan, my man Karan's checking in over on Facebook as well. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. All right. So when you're looking at the market, when you're trying to figure out what's going on, you really want to look at the big sectors and kind of get the big picture. So we see again, stock market is somewhat up, but when you look at it, the NASDAQ, which I really don't cover as much, but the NASDAQ is kicking butt. The NASDAQ is still up, right? Because the NASDAQ is primarily tech heavy. All right. The S&P 500 is actually tech heavy too, but it has companies from other sectors inside of it as well. So it's kind of pulling it down. K-Pers, how are you? Welcome. Big Bear 79, how you doing? Thanks for joining. And Michelle 27, how you doing? Thanks for joining. So when you look at that, right, you get the kind of the overall picture of the stock market and what's going on. Again, tech's still running hard. Tech, from Facebook to Amazon to who else am I missing? Facebook, Amazon, the FANGs, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, right? Netflix and Google have all been running. They're out of sight. Even when you look at things like Zoom and some of the other tech companies, they've still been kicking butt. Now, everybody wants to talk about tech. So I said, you know what? I want to talk about some boring stuff. Y'all might not find it sexy, but to me, the thing that's really sexy is stability. The thing that's really sexy is income, right? So one of the things I've been doing, and I was inspired by this, but one of the things I've been doing is just showing folks how through Cash App you can buy stock with $1. Hey Amy, how you doing? Through stock, you can take $1. So you don't need a whole lot of money to start investing. So if you're just the average person, the average Joe, the average Jill, Jane, and you don't have a whole lot of money, but you're trying to put your money to work, you can start with $1, and you're trying to figure out how to get out the rat race. You can start with $1. You can invest $1 into a stock. And so as you do that, it begins to build. So again, I was telling you earlier that many times people tend to tease me based on my portfolio or my dividends that are paying out, because I've had some that have been like 3 cents. I've had some that's been 6 cents. Recently, the other day, I had a dividend payout of $1.92. And I'm going to show you all that in a minute. But the $1.92 came from energy, because I've been buying energy through an energy ETF. Hey, Zamira, how you doing? Happy Saturday. But through energy, I've been buying that. Energy's been getting killed. Why am I buying energy? Energy, Kamari, oil's dying. Energy's dying. Yeah, it is. It's definitely getting hit. It's definitely getting smacked around. But guess what? Energy's not going anywhere. It's going to be here. The oil lobby is strong. There's a reason why cars aren't off oil now. Oil lobby is strong. The technology's been around to do things like Tesla and some of the other stuff, the other electronic and hydrogen cars has been around for quite some time. Our planes, trains, again, and automobiles are still reliant on oil. The majority of people traveling around the world are dependent upon oil. Much of the stuff that we use, plastics, come from oil, comes from petroleum. So all of these things are derivatives or used with oil. All right. Big GP 75, how you doing? Mid-Atlantic, how you doing? Perk Baby, how you doing? Trey Snatch, what it do, Trey Snatch? How you doing, brother? Rel the Ruler, how are you? Welcome. Happy Saturday to everybody. Welcome to Wealthy Conversations. Do me a favor, as you all are joining in, do me a favor, share this out, right? Because I'm in a battle with the algorithms. The algorithms like to slap me around, like oil's been getting slapped around. So I'm fighting the algorithm. So please like, comment, and share this out to anyone who is looking to increase their financial IQ. So I'm going to put up on the screen shortly just a couple of slides, just a couple of screenshots of my dividend portfolio. Again, it ain't sexy. So if y'all looking for sexy, I'm not the guy. If y'all looking for trading, I'm not the guy. I like to stick to the basics for the beginners to get people into the market so they can have a baseline to catapult from to do, more sophisticated things, more advanced things. But it amazes me sometimes, but I still get questions like, how do I buy stock? Where do I look for the stock dividend? Again, that was a question from my man King on IG asked that. And listen, they're not bad questions at all, but they amaze me because I answer a lot of them all the time. But listen, you can keep the questions coming because I don't mind answering them at all. But again, it amazes me because, it's 2020 and part of me feels like when I say we, the majority of my audience is the Black community, we should be much further along in our wealth journey. We should be further along in our overall wealth pursuits. But, I'm getting more and more questions every day. So that means more and more people are getting curious. So I'm so for that. The only thing I'm not for, and I'm not trying to be long-winded, I'm not trying to preach, but we got a lot of overnight sensation stock gurus out there. And y'all know I talk about that all the time. A lot of them have already gotten some people in trouble. A lot of them are going to continue to get people in trouble. Why? Because they don't care about your overall picture. They're just telling you to invest because that's what they're doing. But investing is a customized, tailor-made thing, just like your life. It's not like anybody else's life. It's your life. Your life is always going to be different than your average person or different every day than people. Let me back that up. Your life is always going to be different, right? There's 300 plus odd million people in the United States. Each one of those 300 plus odd million people in the United States have different lives. They have different factors. Now, we may have a lot of commonalities, but there are things that are different. Some of y'all are married. Some of y'all are single. Some of y'all got some entanglements, relationship-wise and financially, right, that you can't get out of. So, just keep that in mind. You got to do what's best for you. Even when you're listening to me, because I know a lot of y'all will buy what I'm talking about, right? Remember, what I'm talking about is not an investment recommendation. It's not investment advice. Everything here is for education and entertainment purposes only. Past performance of an investment is not an indicator of future results. All right. And y'all know I am not a big fan of stock picks. I will tell you what I'm doing. I'll give you the rationale or the thesis behind what I'm doing. But ultimately, my goal is for y'all to be able to pick stuff on your own. And if you want to bounce it off me, that's cool, right? But what happens, right? We get so dependent upon people feeding us. What happens if I'm no longer here? What happens when, maybe somebody else who's been trustworthy and outright honest and authentic and transparent is no longer there? Y'all know the old saying, give a person a fish, they can eat for a day. Teach a person to fish, they can eat for a lifetime. So that's what this is all about. All right. And again, everything I talk about, y'all should double check and go do the research. Don't trust me. Don't rely on me. Don't trust anybody. Don't rely on anybody. Double check, triple check, quadruple check all the numbers, because a lot of people are out here just telling you things that sound good, but they've never lived it. They've never done it, any of that. And so I'll be honest, I really hate that because I hate seeing people get hurt. We all work hard for our money. We all have families. And in the Black community, we don't have time to lose money to shenanigans, right? It's one thing to lose. And when I say lose, right, there are typically lessons involved in that. It's one thing to lose or have a loss and you learn something from it because you had an honest pursuit and you're working with some honest people, things happen. It's another thing to get swindled by some folks that are promising you the world and they're telling you that their gold, it has that new glitter shine on it. But remember, all things that glitter, all gold that's glittering ain't necessarily gold. All right, so just keep that in mind, folks. Keep that in mind. All right, Karan, I see you. Chili, Conoco, you like that Conoco chili? They pay a great dividend. They pay a great dividend. So give me 1 second and I'm going to put just my stuff up on the screen. And how do I do that? There we go. All right. So just like I said, just building out my portfolio using Cash App. Now, these are all the transactions. Who has $50 to spare? Right. So my first purchase was April 22nd, $50. I got a dividend on June 26th of 75 cents. Not a whole lot of money, right? Peanuts, right? Can anybody watching tell me what percentage that is? Anybody got it? Kaizen Investor, how are you? Riri, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nobody got it? Well, that's 2%. So off my $50 that I put into the stock market, into this ETF, I'll give y'all the name in a minute, I made 2%. And so that was April to June. So that's what, roughly 3 months? Your bank paying that? Now listen, I don't want to misguide anyone or paint this rosy picture. This investment is actually down, but it's okay because I'm building a position in it. Right. So, but I got 2% from the dividend, right? So the stock price is going down or the ETF price is going down, but I got 2% off of it. So I can put my money in the bank and not get 2%. By the way, I don't need this money to pay my bills, put gas in my car, put food on the table, pay the mortgage or any of that stuff. All right. This is my get rich money. This is my opportunity fund that I'm funding here. All right, so on June 26th, I got 75 cents. So with that 75 cents, I said, you know what? I want to reinvest because Cash App does not have an automatic reinvestment option at this time. Other platforms do. All right, so I said, all right, on June 26th, I got 75 cents. Again, pennies, folks. Pennies turn to dollars. Dollars turn to tens. Tens turn to 20s. 20s turn to 100. $100 bills, that is. All right, so on June 26th, I said, all right, I want to reinvest my 75 cents. Plus, I'm going to add another, what's that? I invested $75. So what is that? $74.25. So I said, I'm going to add another $74.25. So then yesterday I woke up and I realized, oh, damn, I got another dividend payment. And that time it was $1.92. Now, that dividend payment went up went up almost 300% from the first one. So the first one, or 200% from the first one. The first one was 75 cents. The next one was $1.92. Yeah, that's right. It's definitely quicker than bank interest payments. All right. Now these are the companies. I'm going to come to the companies that are inside this ETF. But again, I got $1.92. And so what I did that day is I said, you know what? I brought another share. I just brought one share because the share was like $30. I said, all right, I'm going to reinvest my $1.92. Now, for some reason, that is not on the screen. But yesterday, I brought another share, $31. I put in $31 in the Cash App, another share. So usually every time I see a dip or every time I get a dividend payment, I reinvest and I add some extra. So again, this ain't rocket science, folks. It's again, I say it's not sexy, but I'm not looking to be sexy. I wouldn't look good in a bikini anyway. So those are, yeah. All right, there it is. So that's the $31. So $31 yesterday. And I do that all the time with a lot of my Cash App holdings. And again, a large reason why I do this is just to show that you can do it too if you got $31. It's not about trying to keep up with the Joneses or trying to keep up with Warren Buffett or keep up with any of the big name investors that are out there. It's about doing what you can do at your level. Comparison is the devil. Let's stop comparing ourselves. It's okay to be inspired by some people. Never compare though, right? Their situation is totally different than yours. So I thought I had another slide in here, but Karan, just to answer your question, this ETF is XLF. And so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pull up XLF. And I just want to go over some of the holdings in XLF because Chile actually brought it. Nope, not ARKW. Not ARK. I know everybody's loving ARK because it's got the high percentage in Tesla. I'm not a Tesla fan. I don't care if Tesla runs, right? So I want y'all to think about this. While stocks aren't wives, I'm going to use the analogy of a wife or a relationship. So a lot of times we run the things just because they got the juice. They got the sexiness. And I'm a guy, I'm a heterosexual guy, so I'm going to talk about a woman, right? So if let's say I'm in a relationship, I am married, but let's say if I'm in a relationship and the new girl comes to school, she's hot, she's sexy, everybody's drooling over her because she's new, she's hot, she's sexy, supposedly, right? And then I leave my lady and I run to her. What does that tell you? I'm not loyal, right? And again, I'm not trying to confuse money with real life relationships. What I am saying, though, is that there is something to stability. There is something to sticking to your plan. There is something to rocking out with what works best for you instead of following everybody else and trying to do what everybody else is doing. I mean, we all kind of marvel at those couples that have 50-year time frames or 50-year anniversaries, 70-year anniversaries. They've been together since forever. They went through some rough patches. Stocks go through some rough patches. There's some up and down times. I'm sure both of them probably saw somebody that was a little cuter, a little sexier, had, more hair, but they decided to stick it out. Not to say that, somebody didn't step out, right? But they stayed there. They stayed the course. And they were able to benefit and create memories and create a legacy. Investing largely is about creating a legacy. You don't need to try to go after all the new investments in stocks. You don't have to try to go after everything again. I'm sorry. You don't have to try to go after everything that's in the press or that's being flashed around social media. You got to pick what works best for you. If y'all been rocking with me for a while, y'all know that's one of the themes I stick to, right? Working with what's best for you. Malik says, yeah, it's the future. It may be the future, but does that mean it's right for your portfolio? Yeah, you could say it's the future. At what point will Tesla actually squarely become profitable, right? So, I mean, again, we could break that down. Somebody, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Malik, it's just a comparison, right? But somebody could say, hey, you're this new lady that moved on the block is the future. She's hot. She's it. This new young girl. But here your wife is the whole time sticking by your side. And you're like, nah, it's the future. So I'm going to rock out and bounce. And so a lot of us treat stocks like that. A lot of us treat our investments like that. We like to bounce around because, again, we chasing. We need to stop chasing. Do your research, stick to your process, and rock from there. And that doesn't mean, again, I just use relationships as an analogy because everybody kind of gets relationships. So again, taking this out of context, please don't do that. And that doesn't mean that you can't get a new stock, but at least let that stock match your objective. All right. So what's your objective? I ask people that all the time. They're like, yo, is this stock good? Right. I brought this stock. Is it good? I ask, what's your objective? Why are you investing? What are you investing for? Are you investing for college for your kids? Are you investing for retirement? Are you investing to buy a home? Like I know plenty of people who've used stock market gains to buy their first home. I know plenty of people who have used stock market gains to start a business. I've known plenty of people who've used stock market gains to buy rental property. But when you do it, you want to align your objective with the type of investment you're selecting. And so I'm going to pull up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up what the ETF is because I promised you all that. But y'all know I get going on my soapbox sometime. Give me 1 second. So I'm also going to answer the question, how do you find stock dividends? And that's, relatively easy as well. Mr. Lewis, how are you, sir? Welcome, welcome, welcome. ConocoPhillips or Cop? No. Okay, Tesla's up. But those who are running to Tesla right now, because y'all know we love herd mentality, do you think they're going to get that next 115 growth? It's possible. It's possible, right? Nothing is impossible. All right, as I tell a lot of you all, when you're looking at a stock, one of the easiest places you can go is finance.yahoo.com. Again, finance.yahoo.com. The ETF that I'm investing in right now is XLF. It's the largest energy ETF on the market. I don't think that dividend yield is correct. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So it's saying here it has a dividend yield of 2.64%. Well, you know what? That's about right? Remember I said that $50 turned into 75 cents and it was 2%. And XLF has gotten hurt over the last, let's see, year to date. It's definitely down. Started the year at $31.08. Is that right? Because I paid 30. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that right? No, that's not right. $23.49. Or did I buy extra shares and didn't know it? So I'm going to go directly to the source and pull it up. So then we can also look at the holdings. So XLF is part of the Spider family, or SPDR. They're the first group of people to create ETFs. SPY was actually the first ETF. That's not what I wanted. SPY was one of the first ETFs to be created and marketed. All right, so Chili, I'm glad you said that. So invest for growth, right? Invested for retirement. So Chili, what is your long-term hold, or what is your time horizon? How long are you holding for? When do you plan on retiring? I have a feeling it's not tomorrow. And listen, I get it. A lot of people love Tesla. I'm not one of them. They've been around for over 10 years, and again, they still haven't figured out how to build a profit. Tesla is like a church, a synagogue, or a mosque. Whole bunch of hype, whole bunch of idol worship. That's how I see it. It's my opinion. Everybody loves Elon Musk. So far, what do y'all think? Is it a waste of time to buy, to reinvest these pennies? Or does it make sense to reinvest these pennies and continue to reinvest? What do y'all think? I'm interested in your thoughts. Hustle Zone, what's up, Ryan? Life's Barbie, how are you? Kelly, what ETF? I'm looking at XLF. Oh, you know what? I put in the wrong ticket somewhere. It's not XLF, everybody. XLF is financials. XLE is energy. That's why I tell y'all to double check. Even me. Why? Because I too make mistakes. I too make mistakes. When you rely on one person, one source, you're not factoring the human factor. I don't know. It seems like I am programmed today to type in XLE. So, Beautiful Brown 39, thanks for joining. Food Stamp Poppy, how you doing? I love that name. As being a person that was on food stamps at one point, I totally get it. Officer Wright, Kelly says reinvest over there on IG. The money's already in the bucket. That's just swish it around. Yeah, how about that? How about that? All right, bet. Tilly says he's got a 15-year time horizon. I own T. I love T. I'm actually looking at buying T as well because it has a great dividend. VZ has a great dividend. T is AT&T. VZ is Verizon. MSFT is Microsoft. So you brought Tesla at 359 last year. Yo, Chili, let me hold something. Been following since 2016. So why are they profitable, Chili? Tell me that. Why? I know they've got a plan coming up in China to bolster more production. But will they be able to put out more cars? I know there's a big demand for the product, right? I can't even hold y'all like the Tesla, from everything that I've read, is a great product. I don't have one. And I do love the idea that it's saving the environment, or it's helping to save the environment, should I say, or that it's better for the environment. But again, I don't know. I don't know, folks. All right, so I got my life together. XLE. I'll go through the kind of the sectors of the ETFs as well if you all want to look at those. All right, but XLE's ETF is the biggest ETF for energy. So the dividend yield is, the index dividend yield is 6.96%. So I'm looking at the actual website for the people who make this. But right now, the dividend is sitting at about 11% because it's been falling. And so you get 54 cents for every share you own. So every time the company pays dividends, you get 54 cents right now for every share that you own. So it makes sense. I have over 3 shares. So every time I buy a share, I'm basically buying 50 cents of income, 54 cents in income. Now, what am I investing in when I'm investing into XLE? And Chili, I'm going to come back to your comment in a minute. So Exxon Mobil, biggest oil producer in the world. CVX, Chevron, COP, ConocoPhillips, the Williams Company, Kinder Morgan, Phillips 66, Schlumberger. These are all the holdings that are inside of this. EOG Resources, Marathon Petroleum, Valero. So all of these are pretty big companies. Just about all of them are actually some of your biggest companies in the energy sector, right? Then you got Pioneer Natural Resources. I don't know how to say this one. ONEOK, Hess, Halliburton, Baker Hodges, Occidental, Concho, Cabot, Diamondback Energy. All right. So that's what I am investing in when I buy that ETF. Now, remember I said it's down year to date. It's down 38.73%. But I'm not really buying for performance. I'm buying for income. I do believe performance will come over the years, but I'm buying for income. And I'm buying for income while the stock is low, while the ETF is low, so I can get a bigger bang for my buck. And again, I'm just taking pennies out of my bank account or dollars out of my bank account, and I'm investing it into this ETF because I'd rather it go to an ETF for a stock than it just to sit in my bank account. Obviously, I'm still a big believer of cash, still a big believer of savings, but I also believe that you can do two things at the same time. I see a question that floats around a lot. People say you should pay down your debt first before you begin to invest. I don't subscribe to that because when you do that, you miss out on potentially great big gains. I mean, let's use Chile again. He brought Tesla at 359. It went up to 1400 and it like split. So he's still up in the game and got some extra shares. So had he, and again, Chile, I'm just picking on you. Let's say he had a bunch of debt and he opted to pay off his debt, he would have never been able to participate in that major run up. Now, again, I'm not saying be irresponsible with your debt either, but I am saying that you can kind of walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. So, keep that in play. Jeree Evans, how we doing? Kelly, what's up, Kelly? Kelly, you see that video I put out? Shout out to Kelly. A major black business, strong black business, produces lingerie for plus size women. Everybody go check out Kelly's Closet. All right, so that's just what I'm checking out, right? And so I'm going to go back to finance.yahoo.com. Remember, one of the first places you can go to kind of get a snapshot of a stock you're looking at is finance.yahoo.com. I absolutely can talk about the tax ramifications of dividend stocks. Thank you for that, Kelly. So I got two Kellys in the house. All right, so remember, y'all, I got tongue-tied, tongue-twisted. I was talking about the wrong daggone ETF. Yeah, exactly. What is your name, the ruler? Is it R.E. the ruler, or I don't want to keep saying it wrong. Righty, so I'm going to pull up the Yahoo.Finance screen real quick and show you what that's hitting for. All right, so one of the ways you can look up a dividend yield is just go to finance.yahoo.com. Finance.yahoo.com. All right. Put in your ticker symbol. I'm putting in XLE. The screen will come up. XLE is an ETF. It's basically a basket of stocks, basket of energy stocks. There are other ETFs that hold baskets of gold miners, baskets of silver, baskets of tech companies. They're all kind of things. All right. And the yield, 11.25%. That's the yield. Now, remember, that 50 cents that I got off of the $75, that yield, that 11.25%, that's annualized. So that's what a person will get for holding one share of XLE for a year. So as it stands right now, As it stands, where is it at? As it stands right now, they'll get roughly 11%. So what is 11% of $30.18? That's $3.40. So you can expect to get $3.40 for every share that you own of XLE. I don't think that's a bad bargain. I don't think that's bad at all. I think I like it. Clearly, I like it. That's why I'm buying it. Right. So again, just to finish out and answer the question and put a period there. When you're looking up what the dividend yield is, again, you can go to finance.yahoo.com, put the ticker symbol in the search bar, come down, look at it, and on the right-hand side, it has yield. And usually what they have also is the actual dollar amount you get per share. Now, this is an ETF, so it might not do it for that, but I bet when I go to Exxon, which is also paying a great dividend. Right. Exxon is paying a 10.14% dividend. Now, a lot of people are wondering about Exxon, right? And just bear with me for a minute because this is all, I'm going to tie this all in. Exxon has a dividend yield of, again, 10.14%. And for one share of Exxon, which is $34.64, you will get a dividend payment of $3.48. So again, 10% roughly. So at the end of the year, if you own one share, you hold it for a year, you'll get roughly $3.48. Not bad. However, there is some rumblings that many feel that Exxon has a lot of debt. And will they be able to continue this dividend payment? Or will they have issues with this dividend payment? Exxon's last dividend payment was in August. The ex-dividend date was August 12th. That's the date when they cut off for owners to say all those people are due to get a check. Their next earnings date will be in November, so they'll probably do a dividend around there as well. Now, remember, dividend payments are issued by the board of directors. The board of directors is actually the team of people who actually run the company. Many people think the CEO runs the company, but they don't. Like, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to Kanye West. Kanye West wants to be on the board of Adidas and Gap because of the value he believes he's going to bring. So I got a question for y'all. If y'all were a business owner, or if you were on the board of Adidas or Gap, would you want Kanye West on your board of directors? Tell me what y'all think. All right. All right, so it's Reth. So Reth, the ruler says nope. Why wouldn't you want Kanye West on your board of directors? Okay, so Mid-Atlantic says he owns T, again, which is AT&T, Nike, Microsoft, all good companies that have a good dividend. Yeah, I agree. So Reth says he has no board experience. Get him out of there. I would tend to agree with Reth. I would agree. What do y'all say? Katisa says no for Kanye. I'm not mad at you. Mental health is a real thing, so I'm not making fun of Kanye, but I do think it's a relevant point, and I think it's something that we all should be talking about. Because again, I don't think a lot of us know what the board of directors is. We just buy stock just because we think it's hot. We don't understand how it makes money. We don't understand where it makes money. We don't understand the quality of management. Now, those are some of the things y'all hear me say time and time again. Chili Davis says, I want Magic on the board. I would agree with you. I would definitely want Magic on the board too. Yeah, Nike is kicking butt. They did $2 billion more in earnings over what the street estimated for them. I don't know if any of y'all check for my YouTube channel like that. If you don't, do me a favor, go over there and subscribe. I'm trying to get my YouTube weight up. Like I said, the algorithms are fighting against me. But I did a video a couple years ago talking about, I think the title was, well, Colin Kaepernick pushed Nike stock to 200. And so Nike is still riding off of the Kaepernick bubble. It's still riding off a lot of that. And, let's face it, Nike is definitely a cultural icon. A lot of people look to Nike. A lot of people like Nike. I get it. And it's a well-run company. I'm a big fan of Phil Knight and what he's built over there. I think I talked about this on Wednesday, but I'll repeat it again. Nike isn't a shoe company. Nike isn't an apparel company. Phil Knight says Nike is a marketing company. They're a marketing company that just so happens to sell shoes. What do y'all think about that in terms of a company? Because oftentimes we think of the company being, again, an oil company. We think of the company being a tech company. We think of the company being, I'm trying to think of one, a retail company like a Walmart, So Katisa says Kanye is mentally unstable, too impulsive. Yes, when he gets off his meds, he has episodes, and it's sad. And I wish with all his musical genius, Kanye is only a musical genius. He's not a genius at anything else. You could say fashion, but I believe the fashion comes off of his musical things. He's definitely not a genius when it comes to politics. But I wish he would take his mental health more seriously. Tilly says, I want more black representation on boards of companies like Square and Nike. I would agree with that. And it's funny, as we talk about this, we talk about representation. I am totally disgusted with what the CEO of Wells Fargo said when he said there's no black talent. Now, let's be clear. There's not as many black folks going into fields like finance, but we got a whole lot of folks going into fields like accounting. Every position in the bank isn't necessarily a banker. There's plenty of black accountants that could work wonders and be great value to Wells Fargo. But I guess they're not looking there. Like, where are they recruiting? Where have they been recruiting? Why haven't they been recruiting at HBCUs? Why haven't they been going to NABA? NABA is the National Association of Black Accountants, right? There are places where they could go and increase their recruitment, increase the pipeline for black folks. So when these PWI companies, PWI is predominantly white institutions, when they say stuff like that, no, it's BS. It's not real. All right, so what we got going on IG? All right, Kanye is a wild card. Depends on the board company's goals. So, I've gotten a lot of younger folks, younger than 30, asking me why I have that position, right? And so, again, people don't understand what the position of a board is. The board is supposed to be stable. The board is supposed to be able to work through decisions and think about things like compensation for the employees, especially their executive suite. Think through things like what kind of liability exposure they have. Think through things like what opportunities are out there in the market and how to best position themselves to take advantage of those opportunities. Can y'all imagine Kanye having an outburst like he had on TMZ, at Adidas, or at the Gap? And listen, for the record, Adidas definitely has a diversity problem. That's been documented by the black people that work at Adidas. There's not many of them. All right, so Nike isn't going anywhere. New Jays every season, long-term play. I agree. And Kelly says there's talent. He's a damn lie, talking about the Wells Fargo CEO. All right, so yes, Wells Fargo won our dollar, but no people in power. Yet they won our dollar, and they also do modern-day redlining as well. Look that up. Look at the lawsuits that they've had to settle with the DOJ because of their shenanigans that they've perpetrated, especially on black folks back in the 2009 crisis. So it's crazy. Taylin, how are you? Thank you for joining. Welcome. Russ says he has had access to people to learn this stuff for years. He hasn't made ample use of that. He wants it handed to him. Are you talking about Kanye or the Wells Fargo folks, Russ the ruler? All right, so last topic. This one is kind of a sad one, so to speak, but I like to highlight these things, and I call this my Rogue Advisor segment. All right, so in the Rogue Advisor segment, I show some shenanigans that are going on out here in these financial streets. People tend to get locked up. I don't think people truly understand the law, the power of the law, and why you don't want to F with the law. But let me take this down real quick. So I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but this is a case. Yeah, I don't think y'all can see that. Let me know if y'all can see that. And while we're waiting, I just want to tell you, this is a case about a tax preparer down in Mississippi. Miss. I always still spell it wrong. I still got to do the cuckoletta and humpbacks when I try to spell Mississippi. But this guy was doing fraudulent returns. And so a lot of y'all know I do a lot of tax and accounting work. And you would be surprised at the amount of people who ask me things or ask me to do things, not knowing that it's unlawful. Sometimes they do know it's lawful, but they still ask. Either way, I get asked, and I get to have these conversations. And after having so many of these conversations, I wind up developing like this saying, and I say, like, I don't look good in orange jumpsuits. I do look good in orange. I like orange. It worked well with my skin tone. But I don't look good in orange jumpsuits, right? Because a lot of prisoners wear orange jumpsuits. I also don't look good in federally issued polo shirts. And I have on a polo shirt now, but it's not federally issued. They send people to jail for tax fraud. They send people to jail for mocking up or submitting fake tax returns when people dream up numbers. And like, nobody never believes me. They think it's a game. They think it's for play. It's not. And it's sad, but I like to show these because I know many times when we all want to come up and we're trying to figure out what to do and how to make a dollar and how to get into a better position, many of us are willing to kind of skate the law. I'm here to tell you that ain't the way to go, folks. The penitentiary chances are not worth it. I know some people feel it's worth it. I'm here to tell you it's not. So here, let me pull this up real quick. So the original screenshot I had was the Department of Justice screenshot or screen. I was sharing the screen from the Department of Justice because I like to show you I'm going directly to the source and talking about these things, right? So I'm not just making this up. I'm not dreaming it up. It's not make-believe. These are real things. Motion Tony, how you doing? Welcome. Why are you laughing at me, Kelly? All right, so former Gulfport tax preparer sentenced for filing false tax returns. Again, sentenced to jail for filing false tax returns. All right, what is a false tax return? A false tax return is anything that the IRS and Department of Justice can prove that you basically made up and you can't substantiate. Now, I don't like doing so some people will try to shame you and say, if you don't do your taxes, you'll go to jail, right? It's more to it than that. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than that, right? You have to show a pattern of doing this over time. There's an investigation that opens. And so it's not just you file one tax return and, you got slapped on the wrist because you made up some stuff that you can't substantiate. That's what happens with audits, right? So the IRS, they might pull a flag. Listen, there's different types of IRS audits. I don't know if Kay Renee is on, but me and Kay Renee I did an interview with Kay Renee because Kay Renee is a former IRS auditor or revenue officer. I always get them confused. But we talked about that, and she kind of broke down the different types of audits as well. She's no longer doing that. She's actually the person who is helping people fix their tax troubles. All right. So people think it's a game, and it's not. So you don't go to jail for, messing up one tax return. You might go to jail for showing a pattern of doing this over time, and the money adds up. Now, this guy again from Gulfport, Mississippi, was sentenced for filing false tax returns, resulting in over $900,000 in tax losses to the United States. It's my belief that since the country is in such peril right now, financially and economically, you're probably going to see the DOJ become more aggressive and the IRS become more aggressive going after these rogue tax people. So Alvin Mays was sentenced to 46 months in prison today for aiding and assisting in preparation of false returns. According to documents and information provided to the court, Mays owned and operated City Tax Service, a return preparation business that was located in Gulfport. I'm not going to read the address. From 2012, right, to 2017. So we talking, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of him doing this. There's a pattern. There's a repeated pattern. Mays prepared and trained his employees. So not only did he do this, he also recruited people to be a part of his criminal enterprise. All right. So prepare and trained his employees to prepare false tax returns, inflate client refunds, and include false educational credits and losses from fake businesses. Mays also charged his clients excessive preparation fees, sometimes as high as $1,600. I'm guessing for the type of return that they're talking about, your basic W-2 earner, that is very high. That is very high. I did a video talking about your average tax price, or what most people pay for your basic W-2. And if you're claiming your house and you're married, it was way lower than $1,600. I want to say it was $273 off the top of my head. So your average tax return is about $273. So IG, my time has come up. I'm going to end this right now and come right back. And Kelly, don't be laughing at me for spelling Mississippi. All right, so give me 1 second, folks, as I hope I didn't hit the wrong thing, but as I reset up my IG. But this is absolutely crazy because people do stuff like this all the time. This isn't like a rare thing. This isn't an oddity. This happens a lot. And I like to share them because I need y'all to know that there's really a war going on out here for people who are looking to scam the government. Because anytime you're doing things like this, you're scamming the government. Now, I know some of y'all are going to say, well, the government's crooked. Yeah, but the government also has the law enforcement and military on its side. So the question you have to ask yourself is it really worth it? Can you really beat this battle? Is it a fight you should take on? 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10, I'm going to say no, because you don't have the resources. The conviction rate for a federal case is north of 90%. So 90% of all the cases they try, they win. They typically win. So, you have to think about that. You definitely have to think about that. Again, I run into these a lot. I think more of these cases, well, we already seeing more of these cases starting to spike because of all the PPP fraud and all the EIDL fraud. And it's not just big money people they're going after with the fraud. They're also going after low dollar amounts. I've seen some other cases for like a couple $1,000 that people are going after. Listen, penitentiary chances are never worth anything. And again, the majority of my community is the Black community. We do not want to be in prison because prison is slavery. 13th Amendment talks about it. If you got some spare time today, go through and read it. It shows that anybody who's in prison basically is a slave. So, I mean, a lot of us don't get that. A lot of us don't want to get it. A lot of us are enticed and allured or lured by the prospect of getting quick money fast. And so, again, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Yes, Chili, the IRS and the DOJ are no joke. Okay, sad. So Chili says sad when you look into consumer financing products, homes and cars, We know Wells Fargo is the devil. Hey, the facts are there. Yes, the DOJ is real. Hey, Ms. Edith, how you doing? I'm shopping. I lost track of time. Come on, you know this is time dedicated to getting your financial queue up. Hopefully, you only brought things that you actually need. No superfluous things. But listen, we all do need a little fun from time to time. Validated out, and how are you, sir? We all do need some of that from time to time, so it's all good. Financial Anatomy, how you doing? Says sup. This is the first stream I'm catching. All right. Hopefully I didn't disappoint. Let me know if I did. Greg Harris says pull all money away from Wells Fargo. You know what? Me and my wife was talking about that, and it leaves me in a bit of a quandary. I'm on record and have a long track record of supporting Black-owned banks, especially banks here in the city of Philadelphia. I've done that. That's documented. But sometimes what I need a national bank, and all of them like follow the same bill. Somebody said who said they were the devil? They all got smut on their name. They all got dirt on their jacket. All of them. From your Bank of America to your Wells Fargo to, I'm trying to think of some more nationwide ones. There's only a few, but it's really hard. It's really hard. But yeah, I think if the bank is run well, go to a Black-owned bank. That would always be my first preference. Always. Well, yes. So EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, was another program that SBA put out. So you have EIDL and you have PPP. The EIDL was kind of the lower dollar amount, even though they did have some 5-figure loans that they gave out. The PPP typically is the higher dollar amount. PPP loan is 60 months at 1%. The EIDL loan is 30 years at 3.25%. So it's some of the best money you can get. I've actually had to fight with some of my clients to apply and take the loans because so many of us are scared of the government. But at the same time, the money's there and we miss out on these opportunities because we just don't apply. We don't show up. So I pushed a lot of them to do it. A lot of them had to fight. They were all correct. They all had businesses. I know people who applied, or excuse me, let me rephrase this. I don't want to be a co-conspirator. I know of people, and people ask me if they should create fake businesses to apply for some of these things. And I said no to all of them. Because again, I don't believe in penitentiary chances. We know that there are people in jail right now that don't belong there, that are innocent, but yet they are there. And so you already got that one thing. Let's not add another. It all adds up. It all compounds. Boss Diva, how are you? Welcome. All right, so that's pretty much it. I bared my soul. I showed y'all my dividend income, my dividend portfolio. There's a few other things that I'm investing in. I'll say those for another presentation another day, and I'll show those to you as well. But let me know, what do y'all think? My pennies to dollars strategy, is it working? Is it worth it? Is it a waste of time? Do you think it's something anybody can do? Do you think it's something that, your average employee, which is your average employee makes around $50,000 a year? Could they do it? Could they implement it? Could this be a beginning step of wealth for them, of creating wealth for them, themselves, their family, and their overall community? YMB, how you doing? Happy Saturday. All right, so if you're just coming in, I'm Kamari Ellis. I'm the Finance Rebel. You are watching the Finance Rebel Show, and today is Saturday, and on Saturdays we have our Wealthy Conversations. The whole goal of the Finance Rebel Show is to increase the financial IQ in Black communities so we can do better. We can be better. We can have more power, and we can make the quality of life in our communities better. Everything is tied to money, some way, somehow. Money shouldn't be our God. We shouldn't love money. Money is just a tool. But many of us oftentimes use or think of everything as a hammer. Can't think of everything as a hammer. Money's not the cure for everything, but money can sure help you build a lot of things to help you have a better quality of life. All right, so Rep the Ruler says we should all be doing it. The wealthy do it over years and years for compound interest. Yes, 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 yes. So yes, Miss Edith, that's right. My financial time. That's right. You got to protect that time. Miss Edith, I'm sending you out your shirts. I didn't get them to you yet. But they're coming. They're coming. I got a few I got to send out. Just wanted to let you know. To Brooklyn, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. A great book I think everybody should read is The Richest Man in Babylon. And in The Richest Man in Babylon, it says to make slaves out of your money. Now, listen, I know we're black, and many times we might get offended by slavery. But basically what they're saying is make your money work for you. And you can't make your money work for you if all you're doing is buying all the time. Spending money on foreigns, spending money on clothes, spending money on things that depreciate or go down in value. You make slaves out of your money, or you make your money work for you by investing in things that appreciate in value. Y'all saw Baby Boy. Stocks, bonds, artwork, real estate, things like that. But also inside of that, you had to find out what works for you. So again, many a time these overnight gurus are telling you to buy real estate or start these turnkey companies or buy stock, but they never ask, does it work for you? Does it work for your personality? Like there's some people that actually like to get into a house, use their hands, and build something or fix something. Real estate works for them. They may not be able to deal with the everyday volatility or the ups and downs of the market daily. Now, I tell most folks don't watch the news because when I'm talking about investments, I'm talking for the long term. I'm talking for 10 years plus. But again, for some people, they get nauseated by much of the stuff. They can't take it. Onyx Diva, thanks for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's right. Financial Academy is on my line. He tapped in with me. Difference between guns and butter, baby. It's one of my favorite lines in all movies at all times. Shout out to John Singleton. Definitely died before his time. Definitely a genius. I mean, if you look at, just take Baby Boy and Boys in the Hood, he talked about black wealth in both of those movies. I don't know if a lot of us really paid attention to it, though. I don't know if a lot of us got it. I mean, when you talk about Star Diva, how are you? There's a lot of divas joining today. When you talk about the gentrification scene, when he's talking to the gang members and the old man, right? You see the complexity between older black folks and younger black folks, right? Not that either one are wrong, right or wrong, but they have two different perspectives. And many times we haven't figured out ways to build a bridge because we need both, sadly, right? But he kind of highlighted that. And they're sitting in front of the billboard for the person that wasn't of the community, wasn't from the community, didn't care about the community. And they're talking about the poster board or the billboard that was offering to buy people's homes. Still going on a day. Still going on a day. Allah's Vision. Thanks for joining. That's a dope name, by the way. So, you gotta, some of this film stuff is deep, and it's deeper than many of us actually get credit for the good and for the bad. So listen, I believe you are what you read, you are what you watch, you are what you listen to, and you are what you keep around you in terms of people. So keep all those things in mind. I'm gonna get ready to check out in a second. I've been on longer than what I expected. Financial Anatomy says so true. A person's personality should be taken into consideration when looking at things to invest in. Yeah, that's the reason why I tell folks not to, the beginners, I tell beginners not to try to trade Forex, not to try to do futures and commodities, not to be day traders. Learn the basics first. Like, I don't have a problem with any of those, but get your foundation first. Get your foundation first. And then catapult to the next level. And then do the next thing. Deeper than rap. Is that a Dead Prez reference? It's deeper than hip hop. Hi, Cheryl, beloved. How you doing? Thanks for joining. She says, when I hear Wells Fargo now, I want to spit. Yeah. Well, listen, one of the things I always say that we in the Black community can do to promote Black wealth is promote Black-owned businesses. We all know the majority of people, the majority of Black folks that have jobs come from Black-owned businesses. The only exception is the government, the federal government. So if we want to do something that we all can do, is we can promote those Black-owned businesses that you've had a great experience with. The idea that most Black-owned businesses aren't good businesses is a great detriment to our community. It's a lie. There's roughly only about 2% of Black dollars going to Black-owned businesses. Maggie Anderson, who wrote a book, and y'all know I talk about it a lot. Can y'all see that? Our Black Year by Maggie Anderson, right? Great book. I think everybody should read. But she talks about how only 2% of Black dollars go to Black-owned businesses. If we just increased our Black spend to 10%, it would increase jobs in our community a millionfold. 1 million jobs created overnight if we just went from 2% to 10%. That's not a big leap at all. It may cause you to be a little bit inconvenient or inconvenienced, maybe. But with the internet and everything that's going on now, I don't know. I did a video yesterday. I did a video review for a company called Comedic Knowledge. Black-owned company, young cat doing his thing. Apparel company specializes in helping or making apparel for Black women. But at the end of that video, I said, it occurs to me now with the advent of the internet and social media, we're finding more and more Black-owned businesses. So here's a question to the audience today. Do we have any reason not to buy Black now? Do we have any reason not, keyword, not to buy Black? At least way more than what we were before. We have all these different brands making great quality clothing, making great quality products, everything from skin and healthcare, right? So we should be spending our money with Dove or anybody that offends us. I left Dove after they made that commercial, and I haven't been back. And I've been finding Black folks to buy soap from, and they make great soap, right? So you got plenty of healthcare people. You got plenty of apparel folks. We got Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black accountants, Black insurance people, Black car dealerships. I'm just like wondering, why aren't we spending more Black? But again, tell me. I've seen a couple responses over on IG. So Facts Brad, thanks for joining Facts Brad. He says, no, not one reason at all. Like, I think that at least 50% of our spend, I ain't talking about your mortgage. I'm not talking about your car note, right? But you got Black restaurants. Again, all of it may not be convenient, but you can work in one, right? And again, I ain't trying to shame nobody, but you can try to go to a Black restaurant once a week, as much as your budget can stand, right? As opposed to going to a PWI institution, right? So Curtis Keys, what's up, Kurt? How you doing? He said, nope, no reason. Kelly says, nope, not at all. Ref the Ruler says, none. So, again, for my Facebook and YouTube folks, what do y'all think? Do y'all think there's any reason not to spend more money with Black-owned businesses? And so, again, getting to my overarching point is, the one thing we can do is we can really take the social media and highlight Black-owned businesses. Only the ones you like, right? I'm never going to say go somewhere where your money's not appreciated, right? But I do believe there are plenty of Black-owned businesses that appreciate your business, that see value in your business, and treat you with love and respect. So, I just would say that. You know what? Somebody did ask me a question. I'm sorry. So before I wrap up, y'all know I get passionate about Black wealth, Black businesses. So I got off on a little tangent. I think Kelly asked me about the tax ramifications of investing in dividend stocks. So before I get to that, just let me read this. Melanated Alton said, definitely could be a beginning step, not to mention something happens to us psychologically whenever the word free is involved, and dividends are free money. Facts. All right. So tax ramifications of investing into dividend stocks? Yes, depending upon where your money is invested at, right? So you have different accounts you can invest in. You can invest in individual accounts that are taxable. You can invest in accounts that are tax deferred or tax advantage. Example of tax deferred or tax advantage is a 401k plan, a traditional IRA plan, a Roth IRA. Those are all tax advantage plans. So if you own dividend stocks inside of a individual account, you will have to pay tax on the dividends. But guess what? You're taxed at a lower rate. However, if you own your dividend stocks inside of a tax advantage account, you don't have to pay tax on them. Either you pay the tax, like let's say a traditional IRA or a 401k, when you pull the money out and you spend it, not a rollover. When you pull the money out and you actually spend it, you take possession of it, you'll pay the tax on it then. But again, that's usually deferred. So the money that goes into your 401k goes in after tax. It grows tax free, and then when you pull it out, you pull it out, and you have to pay tax on it. Now, they do have Roth 401ks as well, so you can put away a whole lot more money. Now, I'm not going to go into the benefits or the differences between traditional IRAs, traditional 401ks, and Roths. I'll save that for another video. But just know when you invest your dividend stocks and you hold them in a, again, tax deferred account or tax advantage account, they're not taxed. And that often is a tax planning strategy to reduce your level of dividends. So you don't have to pay as much in taxes. So it's definitely something to consider. It's definitely something you should think about before you go into any investment. What's the tax ramifications? One of my biggest things, right? Because y'all know I'll say it all the time, that I kind of hate the financial services industry. It's kind of an oxymoron because I was produced by the financial services industry. But most of the so-called advisors are not thinking about tax ramifications or tax implications. And so they always tell you to go talk to your tax advisor, right? So remember, these are not recommendations. Nothing I said today was a recommendation. This is not investment advice. It's not even tax advice. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Before you make any move with your taxes, before you invest in anything, please talk to an investment and or tax advisor. All right. Ref the ruler. We don't know what tax rates will look like in the future. As the country's debt increases, they're probably going to ask U.S. to pay for all of it on taxes. Maybe. That is one theory. That is one theory, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. Free to serve God. How you doing? Welcome. But I don't know how that's going to factor out. If you look at what just happened with this recent presidential administration, I call him the Cheeto head. He lowered taxes for the rich, mainly the rich, and it absolutely did nothing for the country overall, right? It did absolutely nothing for the country overall. So, administrations do things oftentimes for their own interest, not necessarily what's best for the country, and we're seeing that right now. Next, Philly, how you doing? Free to serve God, just here, spreading the money gospel of being black and wealthy. All right, so there was, I think, one other question, and then I'm going to run because y'all know I get hungry after a while and I need my vittles. So now they're dropping the option to bypass bank fees. That's when you use your debit card amount, a number of times bank fees are waived. So it's funny, I do something with one of my clients. I call it the Rollo Chronicles. I have one client of mine who uses the ATM so much. In some months he incurs hundreds of dollars of ATM charges. Drives me crazy. He has done better because I actually had to do the research and tell him where to go for ATMs that didn't have a charge. Now, to me, that's crazy. He could have researched that himself, but it is what it is. And I tell him, I do the videos about him and I will send them to him because he won't listen sometimes. And I said, man, listen, you're paying me for nothing. If you want to give me your money, fine, but I like seeing results. This isn't, I do it to pay the bills, but this is more of a labor of love. I want to see results. It's kind of a ministry, so to speak. All right. So, and Cheryl's talking about Wells Fargo, by the way. Knowing that many people are out of work or working poor, this is not when many can maintain a certain dollar amount. Yeah, that's just true. I'm going to have to ask that question on IG. Thank you, sir. I'll tag you. But no, we don't. Check out that last video I posted on IG. Check that out. Financial Autonomy says, overall, I've seen an increase in Black spending. I've helped launch 2 Black vegan restaurants. Where they at, yo? 2 Black vegan restaurants in my market, and they are both getting slammed with business. That's dope. Shout out to Sunny Speaks. I interviewed Sunny Speaks a couple of weeks ago. She is a vegan chef as well. Financial Academy just sparked my brain on that. She's down in Atlanta getting busy. So that's dope. Let me know where you're at, Financial Alchemy. Financial. Why am I getting? I'm getting tongue tied again today, y'all. Financial Anatomy. Kaizen's back. Hey, Kaizen. All right, Kelly says this is off topic, but I've noticed more and more wealthy Black support of Trump and his policies. It's so disheartening. Yeah, it's disgusting, and they're very much misinformed, and they very much are lovers of money and not lovers of people. But again, you know what? I think at some point I'm going to start talking more about politics. I talk about it a little bit, but I find that so many in our community are misinformed and have not done the requisite research or have the experience to put out some of the opinions that they have. And listen, everybody's entitled to an opinion. But here's where I'm at with it. There are 40 million Black people in this country. Yes, the government is in shambles. The government is bad. Racism is in the DNA of the United States of America. But there's 40 million Black folks in the United States across all these 50 states. From what I can tell, we're not mass migrating anywhere. We're not going to Canada. We're not going to Jamaica. We're not going back to Africa. We are going to stay here in the United States. So at what point are we going to say, you know what? We need to start unifying like some of these other ethnic groups? And no, unifying does not mean that we are a monolith. Like I see people throw that term around. All Black people are on a monolith. No, we're not. No people are a monolith. When you look at the Jewish folks, there's different sections of Jews. There's different sects of Jews, right? But guess what? They all rally around the protection and stabilization of Israel. They have a common theme. They have a common focal point. Everything else falls by the wayside. And that's not to say that they don't argue, that they don't fight. That's not what I'm saying. But if the Black community doesn't adopt some of these themes of unity, doesn't matter how much money we get. Doesn't matter how well positioned we get, because many of our politicians are just Black folks financed by white dollars. We need to change that. We need to understand the process. We need to learn the system and the game so well, play that game so well that we beat them at the game, like we do in everything else, from basketball to baseball to entertainment. Doesn't matter. Once we really get focused on learning the game and doing things, we can then create a better quality of life for Black folks. Now, listen, there are some people that want to separate. Cool. I'm with that. What's the plan? Where are we going? Where's the ammunition going to be at for when we get the land and we're going to protect that land? Are we assuming that the United States is going to give us free money? Well, anytime you want somebody to give you something, it's a form of entitlement, right? So I'm not a conservative, folks, at least not in the manner that most folks put them in. But what I'm saying is, if you really want to be free and you want to be independent, you got to own your own shit. You got to buy your own shit, period. You can't be looking for no handouts. And no, again, this is not pull yourself up by the bootstraps. This is saying that you have to take what you have, put it to work, and use what you got. You know, there were many of our ancestors that were enslaved that figured out ways to buy their freedom. Were they treated poorly? Yes. But they somehow still maintained hope, still ushered through things, still were productive, and they were able to bring about a change. We have to bring about that same spirit, in my opinion, Tell me if y'all agree. Tell me if y'all think I'm crazy. But again, this idea of withholding the vote, no, I think that's a bad idea, especially when you're 30 plus days out from the election. What we should be doing is what Malcolm X told us a long time, ballot or bullet. To me, the ballot or bullet is the Black political Bible. Now, we'll quote Malcolm X's field Negro, house Negro, which he was historically inaccurate about. But again, that's no shade on Malcolm, but just when you do the history, you'll find that there were plenty of quote unquote house Negroes that participated in riots and worked against massa and did a lot, right? However, we won't quote things from the ballot or the bullet. Like Malcolm X told us that neither party, Republican or Democrat, is really for us. We need to vote in blocks. Again, that's theory. How do we apply it? That takes a lot of work. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but it's still work. The work is the work until the work is done. We still have work to do. The question is, who's going to do the work? We can talk about it. We can do all these things, but until we really start educating ourselves, we are just sitting ducks. This thing with the Supreme Court, many people think it's not important. It's absolutely important. About 40 years ago, almost 50 years ago, they had Miranda rights. Anybody know what Miranda rights are? They got pushed through the Supreme Court. It was a fight. But for Black folks who get terrorized by the legal justice system, Miranda rights does give a form of protection for Black folks, right? We have to be able to look into the nuance of things. And again, y'all got me on another rant. We got to be able to look into the nuance of things. I see so much black and white information flying around. It makes sense. It's flying out of everybody's rectum and nobody even thinks about flushing. And it's just sitting around. And we eat it up, y'all. The same thing happens when we support these quote unquote gurus, these overnight gurus. I have a thing, right? And so just take this. It's not really a personal thing, but I said, if I started touting the religion of get rich quick, I probably would get 1 million followers in 6 months. But since I intentionally talk about boring stuff because it's the real stuff, get rich slow, I don't have that same kind of following. Now, I don't care. Like, whoever's with me is whoever's with me. But I'm just using that as an example. We are attracted to lottery ticket type things. We are attracted to stuff that feels good, sounds good, but really ain't good for us. And we can't get into the true context of a thing. Okay, so we don't vote. Our children are still in public schools. Public schools are controlled by who? Elected officials. Public schools are still controlled by our tax dollars. So we're willing to give up our tax dollars. And listen, you're paying taxes whether you're underground in the Black economy or above ground, right? Because somebody's paying a sales tax, somebody's paying a cell phone tax, somebody's paying some form of tax. So we are paying money into the system that we are not going to demand representation for. And when I say demand, I'm not talking about the Boston Tea Party, right? Because there are now things that we can leverage and use. But everybody loves this idea of not voting. I'm looking at Ice Cube and I love Ice Cube. I do. But why is he bringing this up 3-4 months, his plan for America? Karan, if you're still on, this is my problem, right? We need our entertainers to rally more people. Y'all got the fame. Sit with some of our truly intellectuals, our scholars, and really map out a plan. Puffy, the same thing. Puffy got on live and said, I'm withholding the vote. Really? Really, Puffy? How about we organize? Malcolm X says, we're not outnumbered, we're out organized. But everybody is just, they're running their mouth. And I guess you can throw me in that lot too, and I'm cool with that. But nobody's talking about organizing, like real organizing. A couple of years ago, Tavis Smiley did his thing with Contract for America, and he had all the heads of all the people, all the prominent Black folks. You know, some folks might say all the bourgeoisie, right? From Farrakhan to Jesse Jackson to Michael Eric Dyson to NAACP, many others. Here's a question for y'all. I asked this question many years ago. What would happen if Black America had a board of directors? What would happen if Black America had a board of directors? Let's say 25 people from all the head organizations that we somehow picked, right? I don't understand how it would work, but they set an agenda. We get mad. We talk trash about President Obama, that he did more for gays and Latinos than he did for the black community. But where is the black agenda? Everybody's got one, but we don't mass adopt it. So again, what I'm saying, that we throw around these black and white statements. We don't look at the nuance. It's just black and white, right? There's a whole, if you think about it, black is the total presence of color. White is the total absence of color. Between those two, there's a lot of color. Where's the color at in these statements? I know nobody wants to do the color because it ain't fun. It ain't sexy. That don't feel good, right? We just want to get down to it. We should leave. We should not vote. Okay. Again, we vote. We don't vote. We withhold our vote. And then our children in our public schools are unprotected. This is the same argument that W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington had, and Adam and Marcus Garvey as well. That happened 100 years ago. Again, I'm a history buff, so I hope I'm not losing anybody. Point being that it's great that, we can say all these fancy things that we can get on social media, but if we're not really doing the real work, what, in my opinion, is the unification. It's finding the common bonds between us, finding the things that we can work on, that none of this really matters, because we'll be doing the same thing. There's a reason why black folks only spend 2% of their money with black businesses. It's part of the same mentality, in my opinion, that says don't vote. That's my rant. I guess I should do like 60 minutes and have my commentary for it. So I'm gonna do these last couple, and then I'm getting off. I said that already, I know, but I mean it for real this time. All right, so this is off topic, but I've noticed more and more wealthy. Oh, I read that already. Yeah. So Kelly, you the one that triggered me. I just see so many of these IG folks with large followings and pushing wealth for their community, shitting on the same community because they haven't become wealthy yet. Yeah. Listen, a lot of here's one way you can tell when these gurus are fake or not. There's a guy who sold a bunch of books, and you could say is actually the leader of personal finance. And every chance he gets, he puts people down because they're not wealthy, because they're poor. He calls them losers. He's been documented to call unwealthy people losers. Now, listen, I will say that some people don't live up to their God-given gifts, abilities, and talents, but I also recognize that sometimes it's a journey to get there. Moses didn't accept the call to go see Pharaoh right away, right? So listen, we all have our own struggles. It's not my right or anybody else's right to judge someone. How you doing, Paul? 5-star. How you doing, Ladina? It's not my right to judge anyone for what they are or they are not doing. Only time I feel that judgment, and I don't really believe in judgment in that fashion, but the only time I believe judgment is fair is when they're actually harming other people than themselves. Yeah, attracted to temporary things. Doesn't have lasting effect. Yes. Kelly says, that's why I like you. Oh, Kelly, thank you. You are genuinely, I am genuinely for the people. But you would be surprised how often I get called coon, how often I get called a Republican. By the way, context here, y'all. I don't think there's anything wrong with black Republicans. Black Republicans in this day and age are crazy, though. Just want to be clear about that. Under this leader are crazy. Most black people are conservative anyway. When you really, really get down to it, the disconnect is part of the social part. But again, that's more nuance. The real Fendi Rel, how you doing? There, right? Kaylan is there's no black agenda. Leo Lady, I'm sending you your stuff today. Jedi Mace Windu, how you doing? Love that name. Big why nah, it's all good. It's all good. I've actually been I've been stewing on a lot of this. It really makes me mad that not that people have a following, but that people are really intentionally, I feel many people are intentionally misleading. Like, you might have a difference of opinion, and I'm for that, because right, when you have difference of opinion, that creates growth. When you have different perspectives and you can articulate and we can debate those perspectives, that brings about growth. Or excuse me, I shouldn't say debate, I should say dialogue. We can dialogue about those perspectives. dialogue respectfully, right? Because so many of us are into disrespecting black folks, but we say we love black folks. And like I said, I get called coon, I get called all kinds of things. I don't respond in kind, but it's like, wow, you say you for black folks, but you would so freely call me weird without even understanding where I'm coming from, where I've been, what my experience is. When I talk about politics, I've actually been treasurers for elected people. I've actually volunteered in campaigns. I've actually taken several political science classes. I actually read on my own about some of these things. I actually talk to people who work with government, who are working with elected officials. And these not just volunteers. Like, these are people who are making moves. Like, I actually talk to them. I talk to elected officials, right? They don't do that. So where is the perspective? Why should we respect these perspectives? And many people do. Jay West, how you doing? And again, this isn't an ego stroke for me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I believe that's the process. That's the process we have to go through. Kelly, I ain't gonna say that name. Yeah. I also, so Rep the Ruler says drop a name. So I don't drop names unless somebody really adds me. I don't drop names, and I'm gonna tell you why. We already got enough black on black crime. Y'all see these folks? I give y'all the clues. All you got to do is connect the dots. But we already got enough black on black crime. We already got enough black folks fighting on black folks, and it's nothing but a distraction. Nothing but a distraction. Dan, how you doing? And so, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm a human being, and sometimes I do want to add people, right? And if I really do have an issue, I will add somebody. I will. And here's the thing. I'm 40 plus, y'all. So I'm from the age where you don't say things to people unless you're going to say it to their face. Like, I tell people that all the time. So if I call you a name, best believe if I see you in person, I will call you that name. But I don't really believe that in that. I don't really believe in living that life. I don't believe in that energy. I believe in, like, living in love, right? Living in light. And that's not no woo-woo, but that's real. I think the black community, we got too much strife. We have too much anxiety, and everything we want to do, we always either resort to name calling or violence. A lot of times we have conflict resolution issues, right? So I don't do that. And again, I'm human. I'm not saying I won't ever do it, but the likelihood of me doing it is slim to far. And I've been in enough quote unquote wars physically and on social media to walk that line. That I have my own personal moral code. And so I don't think people do that. So again, when you online and you have a disagreement with a sister and you call her a bitch, but you say you for black people, when you online, I'll give you this one. When you're online and you're having beef with somebody and you call this dark-skinned brother crispy, and again, this ain't no defense, right? I'm just looking from the outside. And you call somebody crispy, and I'm pretty sure many of y'all know what beef I'm talking about when I say crispy, right? You call another black man crispy. I can't take nothing else you say seriously at all, because that tells me you hate blackness or you think dark-skinnedness is something to joke with. It's not. We got to have standards. I mean, I think we should have culture, and the culture dictates the standards. But no, I'm never going to like pejoratively call somebody crispy. Now, again, I have light skinned friends, I have dark skinned friends. I might say something jokingly, privately to them. Never going to say that in public. Never. Like, that's crazy to me. But people still support this person. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And again, I wasn't trying to get on a long diatribe, but I would really love, the reason why I say double check me is because I would really love for us to really embrace thinking and education, right? And when I say education, I'm not saying people are dumb. We're not. We're the dopest people on the planet. Please be clear. But sometimes we let emotions rule the day, and we haven't done the research to kind of guide some of our emotions. We haven't done any of that work. And so it's easy for us to fall into the prey or the trap of some of these people who are very charismatic, good looking, can put together a couple words and they sound sexy. They look sexy. The package is together, the so-called package. Everything's there, but internally, they ugly. We got a whole bunch of black Jim Jones, not the rapper, the white guy that went to Guyana. We got a whole bunch of black Jim Jones running around, and we don't even realize it. Yeah, it's out there. Jedi Mace Windu. People do it. They make jokes out of it. People actively make jokes out of some of our commentators. Like, I'll give y'all this, and some of y'all might disagree with me with this. The term coon and Uncle Tom are thrown around way too much. We throw around the term coon and Uncle Tom just when somebody disagrees with us. Just because we're not on the same vein or the same wavelength. But we'll be quick to call somebody coon and Uncle Tom or Sambo. By the way, Uncle Tom shouldn't even be in the lexicon. It's not accurate. But we love, and listen, I'm part of we, right? I'm talking about black folks, talking about family, right? We love to throw things around that sound sexy. And I know we all do this for jokes, but sometimes we got to put that aside and talk heart to heart and be real. And every time if somebody says no, there is a value to voting, but voting isn't the only thing we should be doing politically. Maybe you should listen to that, right? It's not voting is the only thing. Maybe, right? Because again, you can go back. The documentation is there. Go look at the whole W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, and even the Marcus Garvey battle. None of them were wrong. We need educated people to protect us. This idea that we only need money and wealth is a fallacy. Your money and wealth can be wiped out in a pen stroke. I don't understand why people don't get that. I don't understand how you can't look and see what happened, because we all love Tulsa, right? I love Tulsa too, but we're putting Tulsa on the map like there's no other black centers of economic progress and thought progress, like Harlem, like Raleigh and Durham. But you can go look and see what they did to Tulsa. Rich area, dropped the bomb. Nobody was there to protect them. Now, at the time, they probably couldn't really have anybody there to protect them politically to stop that. It would have still happened anyway. I mean, if you go back to Reconstruction, you can see, if you look up people like Hiram Rebels and things like that, after Reconstruction, black folks was getting it on. And they changed the laws for that. That's where black codes came in. That's how we got Jim Crow. That's how we got a lot of things. But again, it's work, y'all. It's not overnight. It's not the snap of a finger. It's work. And so, listen, if 40 million black people are going to be in this country, then I say we exercise every possible venue to improve our quality of life, protect ourselves in every way, shape, or form. That's voting. That's the law, right? That's why this Supreme Court thing is so important, right? It's all of it. The other thing I don't hear anybody talk about is defense. So you get this wealth because, let's be real, the people that hate us aren't going to stop because the law gets enacted. So how are we going to defend ourselves? And when we do defend ourselves, do we know the law well enough to protect ourselves? When you look at the amount of attorneys that are present, it's like 2%, 5%. So if we don't have attorneys present, how are we going to protect ourselves? But we're pushing this anti-college movement. Not to say that college isn't overpriced, right? And so somebody may listen to this and say, I'm on both sides of the fence, right? I can't pick a side. No, to me, there is no fence. There's just what we need to do to go forward. I'm not riding the middle. I am looking to be objective, though. If we know that we have great results when we have black people in law present, then God damn it, we need more black lawyers. And we need to figure out how to fund them to go to college and to go to law school. A lot of us play this game that we actually have brought in the American indoctrination, that we're rugged individuals, but we still get persecuted from a group level. We still get persecuted for the color of our skin, right? So if we're getting persecuted at a group level, at what point are we going to say, you know what? I'm going to team up with this brother over here. I'm going to team up with the sister over there. We seem to be on the same vein. We're going to pull our money together. We're going to start a business, or we're going to invest in the business, right? Because you ain't always got to be the person that starts a business. Plenty of these businesses need investment. If you work a 9 to 5, you can still be an investor, right? But at what point are we going to say, you know what? In my community, I see a lot of brilliant children, a lot of brilliant Black children. They don't get the education they need. We're going to pull some money and send them to tutoring. We're going to pull some money and send them, or create a Saturday school, an after school program. And listen, that happens, right? So again, I'm not saying that none of this happens. I'm saying we need more of it. That's where our focus needs to be. At what point are we going to start saying, you know what, maybe we should vote in blocks? Not to say that we're not individual in how we feel, but what's going to be best for the group? Because what's best for the group ultimately is going to come back to me. Yeah, will I have to sacrifice? Will my ego be bruised a little bit at times? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But just like I talked about the Jews earlier, they fight. There's a lot of infights within the Jewish community or the Hebrew community. They all agree on the protection of Israel. Now, they might disagree on how to do it, but they get it done. They figure out how to do it. And by the way, there are a lot of Black Jews. They still treat them poorly. So, like, really think about that. We got to really start thinking about some of these things and how it's going to impact our community. Again, there's no right or wrong. There's only what's effective. What I feel is right and what you feel is right could be two different things. But at what point can we sit down together and break bread and say, you know what, where do we have commonality? Where can we be helpful to the community overall? What gifts, abilities, and talents do you have that I might not have? What gifts, abilities, and talents that I have that I could help you with? That's the time we got to be on. Yeah, but they definitely are. I wasn't trying to go there, but they definitely are. There's no denying that. I believe the Falashi in Ethiopia, they got airlifted at one point. Yes, yes, Jada Mace-Windu, medical doctors as well. Yeah, the healthcare disparities are real. Yeah, there's a lot of people that's anti-college. And again, I'm not saying that college is for everybody, but don't y'all find it amazing that every child wants to learn when they first go to school? And then a couple years later, they're not interested in school. Now, I know me, I was kind of like that. I wasn't motivated when I got to school. I didn't really realize, and I was kind of always a nerd. Like, I always read, but it was not like a thing. But when I got older and when I went back to school, I realized, yeah, I really do, like, consciously, right? Because you can do some things unconsciously, but when you do things constantly, you notice it's a whole other power. It's like, oh, I do like to learn. I do like to read, and not just read things that reinforce my beliefs, but things that also challenge my beliefs. I think if we had more readers that actually read stuff that challenged their beliefs, we would have a whole different community. But I also think if we had more readers, we'd have a whole different community. But I'm going on a rant. That y'all want to hear me talk about this stuff. Y'all want this money talk. So Kelly says, right, we can vote and organize at the same time. Yeah, like, again, going back to Ice Cube, going back to Puffy, like, every year, y'all talking every presidential year, right? Because let's be clear, there's an election every 6 months, everywhere. They all matter, all of them. Local, because there's a lot of people saying only local issues matter or only local elections. No, they all matter. Why? Because the federal law is the prevailing law. So that federal law is going to affect everything. Everything. Yes, are there caveats and nuance to state and local law? Absolutely. But you have to worry about it all. We don't have time to just sit by and say, I'm only going to vote local. Yeah, Kaylan, we quick to call names. And so I'm saying that, again, if we're quick to call names, is that real love? Like, maybe I'll do a video on that. Maybe not. I don't know. sometimes I don't want to do this stuff because I'll be honest, I don't want to be involved with some of the shenanigans. I don't want to be involved in the attacks. Hi, Nina Smith. How you doing? Thanks for welcoming. And I'm a human being. I'm just being honest. I mean, because, I tell people all the time that the reason why I went so hard into finance, I mean, obviously I had a black dad, black business owner, black accountant, and I was there and I was in the environment. I was blessed to be there. But at one point, I thought all our issues were really money driven. I don't believe that anymore. I think our issues are lack of culture. A lot of people have a problem when I say that. I think we want to be American so bad. And when I say American, I'm not talking about where you're born, right? I'm talking about what you identify with. But America has never wanted us. And I'm not saying we should leave. I'm not saying we should leave. But what I am saying is that we are our own special thing. But until you can really see that divinity and see that magic and see that power, all you can do is really assign yourselves to the labels that some colonizer gave you. It's so much deeper than that. So much deeper than that. No, system is not really teaching them real life knowledge, need critical thinking. But yes, I agree with that. But I'm going to just keep it funky with y'all, right? We always talk about how, and this is what the community says, how the system isn't for us and the system is the enemy. Why would we expect our enemy to educate us? Like people said it, Malcolm X said that. That's not me, but it makes total sense. So when are we going to create our own educational structure? A lot of other ethnic groups do it. A lot. But at what point can we really be serious about that? A lot of folks ain't serious about that. Marty, how you doing? Thanks for checking in with me. Keep talking. You're going to get me in trouble. I'm just trying to be a family man and live my life. Hopefully help a couple people. Yeah, Kelly, you triggered me. That Nolans. It is true. We don't have a connection. Not to mention some of the generational ish. Yeah, absolutely. What's it called? Post-traumatic slavery disorder. I believe that's real. And then not only just the slavery disorder, post-traumatic Jim Crow disorder, post-traumatic Black Code disorder, post-traumatic all the other abuses disorder, post-traumatic getting raped all the time disorder, post-traumatic getting robbed all the time disorder, right? No, we don't trust each other. But again, we don't. And again, when I say we, I'm talking generally, right? I'm not talking directly at anybody. I'm talking generally. I don't see enough force coming behind to change anything either. I see many of us as going along and get along. And then you'll say many of us, we have to go straight revolutionary and kill up everybody. I don't know if I agree with that. I do believe we have to be able to defend ourselves at all times, though. I do believe that. We had to be ready if that were to come. But just like the Jews, how they took Palestine, people don't study that. They didn't just wake up one day and go to Palestine and say, "Oh, we're renaming Palestine to Israel." And it's a much deeper than a right or wrong situation. To me, it's a studying point. And yes, what Israel does to Palestine is fucked up. Like, there's no way around it. Like, they'll turn their water off, they'll drop bombs on them. It's bad. It's really bad. And yes, it helps to foster an environment of violence. But also, when you go back and when you look at the Jews, the word ghetto is an Italian word to describe the Jews that lived in Italy. And we've adopted it. So basically, you have these outcasts in Europe who have no home, who have no land, who have no representation, who have no protection. And they were able to figure that out to get their own place. The Russian Jews are not the same as the French Jews. The French Jews are not the same as the German Jews. But they figured out that it's better to unite around Judaism, which, depending on who you're talking to, is a religion or it's a people, or it's a culture. I'm not here for that. I'm just talking about the people that call themselves Jews. And unite around that, so they have more of a pan-Jewish ideology and philosophy. And then they went into trades. But there are key things that they did. They preserved their culture, right? They promote their history. You never see the Jews run away from the Holocaust. They demand what they want, though. We run away from slavery oftentimes. I see so many of us talking about we Aboriginal and we not African. Well, I always ask, well, where did the Aboriginals come from? Because it was clear that African people were here. Ivan Van Sertimer talked about that in his book. They came before Columbus. There's a lot of research done on that. But we would rather say that we're something other than descendants of Africans or descendants of the people that come from Africa, because some folks like to play that game too. So Jedi says their culture never left them. Yeah, but guess what? We can do the principle of Sankofa, go back and fetch it, is real. We can make that choice. Anybody ever study Shaka Zulu and how him and his mother were put out of the Zulu area? He went back and got his stuff, his shit. He went back. Nobody can tell you what your birthright is. Nobody can tell you what your heritage is. Even, right, so people say, well, Kamara, you be talking that African stuff, but Africans don't like us. Who? You ever look at Kwame Nkrumah? You ever read Kwame Nkrumah? You ever listen to Fela Kuti? But we pick what we pick. But again, that's my time. Yes, I'll say this, Jedi Wasteman. Redlining is what put ghettos on black people. Redlining is what created ghettos here in America for black folks. We don't want to talk about that, though. And I'm not trying to be cute when I say we don't want to talk about that. I'm just saying I don't get a lot of people reading. There's a great book called The Color of Law. And my time is up on IG, and I'm going to end it for the day because I feel like I'm just ranting now. I'm just giving y'all a whole stream of thought. But go read The Color of Law, and you'll see how methodical and how divisive and how evil the government was in doing that. So if you know you're dealing with a system like that, what are you going to do? So back to my original question, there's 40 million black folks here in the United States of these Americas, of these states. How are you going to fight? Because again, we are not mass migrating anywhere. We've seen that. The Back to Africa movement that was funded by white folks, issues with that, right? So for the 40 million black folks here, how are we going to claim our stake and protect ourselves at every level, educationally, spiritually, emotionally? How are we going to do it? It's time to stop blaming folks and saying, what can we do for ourselves? That's the type of time I want, y'all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for going in with me in my rant. I'm Kamari Ellis. This is the Finance Rebel Show. This is our Saturday Wealthy Conversations. By the way, this is all about wealth. This is our Saturday Wealthy Conversations. I'll be back next Wednesday. You can catch me tomorrow on the Black Wealth Project at 7 p.m. See you all. Thank you all again. I'm honored you're here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right, folks. I am out. Later, y'all.